let's talk about how you're going to create your typography artwork. I have searched for an image and I have placed it in a layer in Illustrator to already start us off. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is turn this layer into a template layer. So that way we can use it for reference, but it's not going to save when we go ahead and export it as a JPEG when we're finished. So the way to do that is to come over to your layer panel. We're going to double click in the empty space of the layer. And our layer options dialog box comes up. At this point, we're going to go ahead and check the template box. And we're going to leave dim images at 50%. So it's going to reduce the overall opacity by half, but we'll still be able to utilize the full opacity colors when we use the eyedropper. So I'm going to click OK. You can see it kind of reduces the opacity. But in order to actually begin working on the art portion of this, we need to add a new layer above it. I'm going to go ahead and change the name of layer 2 to typography. And I just do want you to notice that layer 1 actually became a locked layer as soon as we turned it into a template layer. And the reason this is nice is as we're starting to put things on top in our other layer, this template layer doesn't accidentally get moved around, thereby shifting what we would be using for reference. So with my typography layer selected, the next thing I'm going to do is start creating my word library. These are the words that I'm going to end up using when I put them into my typography art. So in the theme of Corona High School, I'm going to go ahead and choose Corona High specific words. My recommendation, though, is to always use all caps. It's going to fill your spaces better than if you were to use sentence case or lowercase letters. I went up to character earlier and I adjusted the spacing between my letters. You're welcome to do the same thing if you want to have some additional spacing or tighter spacing. It doesn't have to be a specific color at this point, so black is fine to use as your default font color. I'm just going to then alt drag this down so that it's the same font, same character spacing. Think of some other words. You can approach your text themes however you would like. Maybe you do something that's relevant to the image itself. All sorts of options. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to shrink these down a little bit. They don't need to be quite as large. I'm going to place them next to my artboard here. Next thing we're going to do is select our pen tool. And it doesn't really matter what color you have selected as your fill. If it's still black, that's fine. If it's another color, that's fine too. We're going to come over to our template and we're going to create organic shapes. But as we're doing this, we're going to make sure we're not overlapping any areas that have multiple colors. So for my first shape, I'll just start right here. And notice I did not allow this shape to bleed from the pink to the yellow at all, because what I'm going to do next is copy one of my words. So alt drag it over. I'm then going to use my eyedropper tool and click in the area that has the color that I need this word to become, which in this case is that pink. I'm then going to select both my text and the shape by holding down Shift or Control so that they can both become selected. And then I'm going to come up to Object, scroll down to Envelop Distort, and choose Make with Top Object. The other thing you could do is use the keyboard shortcut, which is Alt plus Control plus C. And as you can see, what happens is it puts the word inside that shape that we just created. When we click out, the word is now in that area. So then we can come back to our pen tool and continue this process. You want to try to avoid using really sharp areas like this. I'll show you what ends up happening when we do that and how you might be able to correct it if it becomes a problem. I'm going to do Alt-Control-C, and it jumps in there. And this one actually worked okay because the P was able to extend down into that corner and it didn't affect anything too terribly. If you end up with any additional gapping that you didn't really want, you can always use your Direct Select tool, double click any of your anchor points that already exist, and adjust it so that it fits where you need. And you will just continue this repetitive process over and over until your entire image area is filled with all the text in the correct colors that you're going for. Now let's say you are in your workflow and you are creating a new space. And you go to clip your word. And then you realize after the fact that you had forgotten to either use the word you had wanted to, or maybe chosen the color that you needed prior to clipping it together. There is a way you can go back after the fact and still edit your text, but this isn't the mode in which you can do it. So if you come up to your option bar, you'll see a little icon that has a star on it. And if you click that, all of a sudden, your word becomes editable. You can change it to another word. And for example, I had accidentally clipped it when the word was still in black font color. So now I need to fix it so that it's pink. So I'm going to select the word. I'm going to highlight it while my type tool is still selected. And then I will use my eyedropper tool to click on the pink color that I need before going back to my move tool to set it. And now everything is the way I need it to be. Additionally, you can take the word while it is in this mode and you can rotate it, which will change the direction that that word is flowing into your organic shape. Now, I would only recommend you do this if when you originally clip it together, it doesn't quite fit into your organic shape the way you needed it to. But know that while you are in this star icon mode, where you are in the edit mode for your text, you're able to make mild adjustments within your organic shape to the text, helping you better align and adjust everything. Then, when you go back to that grid view, that's when you can come back into your anchor points and make anchor point adjustments to best fit your space. I hope that this tutorial helps you, and I can't wait to see what your projects come out like.